We are just 2 weeks outside of the 2023 NFL Draft, and today we are going to talk about what the Titans could do on Thursday, April 27th with that 11th overall pick. Guys, forgive me, I am a little bit sick today, but we have a loaded show. I wanted to get you guys, regardless of how I'm feeling, I think it's important that I keep you guys updated. That being said, make sure you hit the sub button. I sound terrible today, but like I said, I'm committed to making sure that you guys know everything going on around the Titans. The draft is in 2 weeks. There are a lot of question marks around this organization right now and what they'll do, and I'm giving you my best. I'm telling you everything that I know, everything that I hear. I am making sure that you guys know it as well, but you've got to hit the sub button so that you are able to get the content and to stay in the loop with all things Tennessee Titans during the offseason. Like I said, the draft is coming up, and there are a lot of question marks around this Titans team. They've got a lot of options. Matt Miller from ESPN said this, quite interesting. People I've spoken with aren't ruling out the Titans trading into the top 5 for a quarterback, but I would consider it a surprise. An AFC exec said, everyone outside Tennessee thinks they'll trade up, but no one in the organization is saying it directly yet. Tennessee is considering several positions in round 1, and the most common scenario shared among NFL sources is Tennessee staying at number 11 and aiming for a pass rusher. But after signing edge rusher Arden Key and left tackle Andre Dillard in free agency, the team's biggest needs have been checked off, which could open the door for a trade up to secure a passer. Perhaps Anthony Richardson from Florida could be in the Titans' plans. Ryan Tannehill is turning 35 and had a disappointing 2022 season. There is a lot to break down there, so we are going to go over the different options that Tennessee could choose on day 1, night 1 of the NFL draft. Could they trade up and go after a quarterback? Ryan Tannehill has 1 more year on his contract. You're going to be looking for somebody to be a little bit more long-term. Do you make that move this year? Do you trade up and try to go get a quarterback? There's a surprise position that Matt Miller mentioned, a pass rusher, which I don't think that's really on many people's radars outside of that organization. Apparently, a lot of people within the organization or within the NFL think that a pass rusher might be a good move. We'll talk a little bit about that and why that might be. Or trading back, maybe drop down and move back from 11 to hopefully secure some moves for the future or some picks for the future. We're going to talk about all of it today, starting off with trading up. We've talked about this a couple different times on the show. Look, it's not a secret. The Titans need a quarterback. You either make that move this season or you let Tannehill ride it out for 1 more year and grab a quarterback next season. You could draft this year. You could wait to draft. But if you trade up, you're more than likely going after a quarterback. I don't really see another position that is worth trading up to that number 3 pick from the Arizona Cardinals, and that's where it would be. They would be trading with the Cardinals to try and get ahead of the Indianapolis Colts, who are also looking for a quarterback, more than likely. And at that point, if you do trade up to 3, you've got probably Anthony Richardson and Will Levis likely on the board. That being said, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are probably 1 and 2, so you've got 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks in the draft still on the board, and if you compare them next to each other, Will Levis looks like a little bit of a better passer, but if you look at these numbers, Anthony Richardson he's got him in some of these categories. He's got a 53.8% completion percentage, and that is what I'm talking about when I say that I think Will Levis is the better passer. He's got a way higher completion percentage. We know Anthony Richardson struggles a little bit with accuracy, but he's got the strongest arm in this class, and he's got the highest ceiling in this class, not to mention he's good on the ground, which for a Tennessee team that is very run first, run heavy, it would be nice to have a quarterback that can use his feet, move well in the pocket. But Will Levis, again, he's got strong characteristics as well. I think we've heard more about Anthony Richardson just because that is the name that has been connected to Ran Carthon from Florida, and he has gone on a visit with the Titans. But if you are Ran Carthon and you do decide to trade up to number 3 overall, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are off the board, and you want a quarterback. Who are you taking? Are you taking Anthony Richardson? Type AR if you are in the comment section. If you're taking Will Levis, type WL. If you want to elaborate and let me know why, feel free to do so. Option number 2, do the Titans draft a pass rusher? I'm going to break down a little bit of Matt Miller's quote here. He did say this is the most common scenario shared among NFL sources, which is so interesting to me because all you've heard about is the Titans trading up for a quarterback or going after a receiver with that number 11 pick, or maybe fixing the offensive line. You haven't heard much about going after a pass rusher, especially because they did just sign Arden Key as well as Azeez Al-Shire and Sean Murphy-Bunting, who it looks like they've started to kind of patch up that defense. So why are you going to use number 11 to go after a pass rusher? We haven't heard much about that, which makes it interesting to hear that that's the most common scenario among the NFL sources. Now, this move isn't necessarily stupid. I think it would be more for the future. The Titans are not really near a championship winning team right now. I hate to say it, but I mean, it is what it is. So do you make moves for the future, and do you kind of bolster this roster so that you're not just filling holes, but you are creating depth and really, really strong parts of your roster by adding more pass rushers? If you, again, are Rand Carthon, you guys are the GM today. You have that number 11 pick, and now the clock is running, and you've got to decide which position is the most important to go get in this first round with y'all's first pick. Let me know what position you're picking. If you're picking a quarterback, type QB. If you're picking an offensive lineman, type OL. If you're picking a receiver, type WR. If you're picking a pass rusher, type PR. Let me know in the comment section. You'll probably get hit with an ad here. Make sure you use this time to fill me in on all of your thoughts. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you think. Another quote that I kind of want to break down here coming from the Washington Post from Jason LaConfera. The Titans are open to moving running back Derrick Henry, and I continue to hear, and quarterback Ryan Tannehill is also someone executives point to as a prime trade candidate. We're not even going to acknowledge those trade rumors today because they've been out and about for a while. No new developments here. There's no concrete evidence that this is the case. So we're just going to sweep it under the rug for right now. The Titans' new front office is already grumbling about quarterback Malik Willis, whom the former GM took a flyer on last year, and it's hardly out of the question that they jump up from the 11th pick for a quarterback, or if 2023 will be a rebuilding, tanking year anyway, could they drop down, possibly way down, to acquire much-needed draft capital and select Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker much deeper in this round? Hooker is older for a college quarterback and recovering from a season-ending injury. He did acknowledge the trading up, but we're going to focus on the trading back here. What would that do for Tennessee? Well, if you trade back from number 11, you would get more draft capital, which is always a good thing, especially when you're trying to rebuild, or as Rand Carthon put it, retool a team that has many holes on the roster. You trade back, and maybe you do still acknowledge the quarterback need with Hendon Hooker, and we've talked about Hendon Hooker plenty of times. He was arguably the face of college football before the ACL injury, and he is ahead of schedule on his recovery. So I don't know that ACL injury, of course, you got to take it into consideration when you're trying to find the future quarterback of your franchise, but he's ahead of schedule. He looks really healthy. He looks really good. So take that into consideration as well. This is a future move. This is something that you do. You trade back, you get the draft capital. You could still address some of your needs, but at the same time, you're not addressing the wide receiver position or the O-line early enough to get a superstar. You might get a sleeper pick later on in the draft, but do you risk that for Hendon Hooker? Again, 69.6 completion percentage. 3,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions in 11 games. That's insane. He is a little bit older, but again, he's proven that he is more than capable of leading a team, and he might just be a good fit for Tennessee. What should the Titans do in the 2023 NFL Draft? We talked about them trading up for a quarterback. We talked about them drafting a pass rusher. And now we've talked about them trading back for maybe a future push the future of this franchise. Let me know what you think Carthon, Mike Vrabel, and that front office should do in the 2023 NFL Draft. Again, just 2 weeks out. As always, we appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you hit that sub button. We are going to have continued Titans draft coverage all throughout the next 2 weeks. We'll see y'all soon. Tighten up.